lower back is absolutely killing me. Well, my whole body is killing me because of the workout I did yesterday. But I'm going to take you guys into the gym, show you what I do to loosen off my lower back when it's feeling tight and I'm getting a fair bit of pain there. So a couple of different release exercises, activation, that sort of stuff. Just help be a little bit less pain-free and feel like I can be a normal functioning human again. So let's get in there. Quick little disclaimer before we get into it. Obviously, if you've been following me for a while now, you know I'm not a physio or osteo. I haven't done any tertiary education on any of that sort of stuff. I'm just somebody that has had back pain for a majority of their life. When I was younger, I fractured my vertebrae and bulged a disc as well when I was 19, so I've been living with that ever since. And these are just the things that I've learnt along the way to manage that pain and get me moving better, feeling pain-free, confident to pick things up off the ground without hurting myself again. So if that is you, follow along. But like I said, just be smart with this. Just because I'm saying it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but it's definitely worth a try. Okay, before we even start, we're just going to do 3 test movements just to see where the pain is, and then we do the release work, and then we do them again just to see how it feels afterwards and if those release things have actually worked. So first one is just a cat-cow. So again, coming down onto all fours, just make sure your shoulders and wrist are in line, your knee and hips are in line, and then just going for a big back bend. So looking up to the ceiling, pushing your belly button to the ground, take a big breath in, and then exhale and reverse it. So really trying to push that back up to the ceiling and then tucking that chin into your chest. And then just repeating that 4 or 5 times. Again, just during these movements, we're just trying to see where the pain is and remembering where that pain is, so when we retest, we know if it's worked or not. Second one is just a downward dog. So pushing those heels towards the ground, pushing your chest through to your feet, driving those hips up to the ceiling. Again, we're just holding this. You can walk those legs if it feels nice. We're not trying to stretch or get anything out of this. We're just trying to see where the pain is. So then when we come back to retesting, we know if it feels good. Now, just take it easy on the next one, especially if that lower back is pinching. We're just going to come into a mini cobra. So come down to the ground, lift that chest up, and just slowly coming up. Again, we're not trying to stretch anything out or do anything with this exercise or this movement. We're just trying to see where the pain is, so when we come back to it, we know if the release work we're about to do has worked. All right, see how we go today. There is a little bit of construction happening above us. No idea what they're doing, but they're very loud. First, we're just going to release a psoas. So that's right in under your hip. I'm not going to go too technical on that, obviously, but you can actually get little U-shaped things off Amazon and that sort of stuff that actually do this. I'm just going to use a kettlebell. It's free, every gym has one, and it's easy to use. So your hip bones run down this way, okay, making a little V. Again, everybody's a little bit different on how this is going to work or where that kettlebell handle is going to sit. But if that V is going down that way, if that's my hip bone, the kettlebell handle is just inside that hip bone. Okay, so really trying to make sure that we're not on the bone, we're not on the the groinal area. We're up here, just off the hip bone and just coming into the belly. So angle the kettlebell handle to the side a little bit. I'm probably gonna make a few weird noises with this one. We come down. Again, kettlebell handle is running that way because my hip is running that way. Real technical with those hand signals and directions there. So what I like to do is just go down close to my groin, find my hip bone, and then we're just gonna come just off that hip bone. Move a few things out of the way. And then we're gonna sink that kettlebell handle up into the belly. So again, that kettlebell handle is running just alongside my hip bone up into my belly. So it's not on any bones or anything like that. It's soft tissue only. Ooh. And then we're just gonna hang out here for a little bit while I try and relax and let that kettlebell handle sink up into my belly. It is very hard to talk through this and relax, but I'm doing my best. You know you've got the right spot if you feel like you need to... Scared the shit out of me. Oh. You know you got the right spot if you need to wee, if it makes you feel like you need to wee, or it's very painful, because that psoas does get quite tight. Oh. If this is extremely painful for you, it's probably a sign that you need to do this a little bit more regularly. Now, because I'm making a video of this, that's probably going to be enough. But normally I'd hang out there for about 2 minutes, and now we're going to turn the kettlebell handle to the other side. Again, the hip bone's running down that way, so as we come over, we want that kettlebell handle running the same direction. Find that hip bone, coming just off that hip bone into the belly. You'll probably find that you got one side better than the other, so one side might be a little bit more painful than the other. That's normal, and that's okay. Generally, we'll favour one side, so that one side will tend to get quite tight or tighter than the other side. Good little thing I like to do here is take a big breath in and then push against that kettlebell handle with my tummy muscles. So I'm flexing my tummy muscles, my core against the kettlebell handle, and then big inhale, and then relax my tummy muscles and exhale at the same time. And that handle just sinks up into that belly a little bit deeper. Again, normally I'd spend a few minutes each side just trying to relax and let that kettlebell handle just work its way up. If you can sort of angle it, like you can see it on movement, you might not be able to see, but I am moving my hips around a little bit just to try and get the kettlebell handle sort of up under the hip bone, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, don't try it. All right, so that's a psoas through there. Next, we're just going to come down towards the hip a little bit more. Now, I've got a spiky ball, a vibrating ball, or just a soft ball. It's completely up to you what you want to do. I'll just turn around onto the side a little bit more so you can see it maybe a bit better. So I'm gonna use the vibrating one, just a little bit nicer. This is just a vibrating massage ball. This is an iron edge one, but you can get them on Amazon for pretty cheap. Just, I find it's a little bit more nice because it's sort of like, again, getting a massage while you're in a lot of pain. So grabbing that ball, I'm gonna turn it on, and we're gonna try and get it sort of right in, just below your hip there. So where your thigh comes up, just below the hip in there. Gonna lay down on that ball. And then we're just rolling around that hip Just again, we're just below the hip, rolling that out. Just moving it around a little bit. You can bring that leg up and down if you want. So again, the idea of this whole process is that we loosen everything off through the pressure, the kettlebell handle, the balls, all that sort of stuff. We loosen off all the muscles, and then we'll just go and do a couple of exercises in a minute to strengthen everything back up. So we release everything, make it all flexible, moving properly, and then you really do want to try and build some strength in that new range with these exercises. Again, I'm just still working the front of the hip. So you move it around a little bit. If you find any tight spots, especially if the vibrating ball, you just stop on those tight spots, and that vibration just tends to help break it up a little bit more. You might need to spend a little bit longer for you, depending on how sore you are. Gonna come down, do the other side. Again, like quite literally, the ball is right under my hip there. So just working my hip right there, and then all I'm doing is just rolling it around there, keeping it nice and high on the thigh. Again, if you don't have a vibrating ball, doesn't matter. You can use a normal massage ball, is going to work just as good. Again, bend and straighten that leg a little bit. Don't be afraid to move it around. Like if you find any knots or anything like that, you can just bring a little bit of movement into it just to help break it up even more, especially if you haven't got one of these vibrating balls. All right, again, probably going to spend a little bit longer on those. Now, I'm going to go to this ball because this next one is the worst thing ever invented. I got this one off Zach. If you're a listener to the pod, you know who Zach is and what he's about. So imagine that you're going to just get this ball and then we're going to slide it in our pocket like that. So it's just going to roll in and out of our pocket. Obviously, it's not going to go in our pocket because we're going to lie on our side and just try and roll up and down in that position there, okay? So you've got a pretty big tendon running down here that's going to be tight, pulling on your back, and when you can loosen that off, it does help. Again, sort of running that way a little bit as if you're trying to slide that ball into your pocket. Oof. Sorry for the noises in advance. So again, lying on the side, I start with the ball up near my hip, and then I'm going to slide myself up towards the front top of the mat, as if I was rolling that ball into my pocket. Going to come back and just repeat that a few times. So I'm not right back here because my pocket is, when you put your hands in your pocket, generally your hands are at the front of your leg. So we're sort of rolling from the side of your leg around to the front. So again, you might need to be over like this. If you're back here like this, you're probably not in the right spot. So forwards, rolling those hips forwards, and then rolling that ball down your leg. Now, what I'm going to do now is take my time and just do a little bit at a time, and then stop. Let that ball just sink into my leg a little bit. Once it feels like that pressure or that pain's gone a little bit, I roll up a little bit more. And wait for that pressure to go. And then sink that ball into the leg a little bit more. I'm laughing because I know this is going to be making a bad video because I can hardly talk and I'm in a lot of pain. And I'm making weird noises. And it's very hard to relax and talk to you guys at the same time. Oh, can I move one more time? Oh, fucking hell. Sorry for the swears. But if you're doing this along with me, I'm sure you're swearing as well. Oh. Okay. Yep, that'll do. Let's go the other side. So again, just one more time. We're starting up here and then sliding again. If I was to put my hand in my pocket, you can see that it's not straight down the side of the leg. You're going from the sort of the side of your leg down to the front of your thigh there. So that's sort of direction, pretty much the direction that you want the ball to be going. I'll try and come around a little bit so you might be able to see a little bit better on this side. So again, starting with that ball up high, rolling my hips over a little bit. Fuck. I think this side's worse. And then rolling them towards the top of the mat so the ball runs down your leg. If you're getting sharpshooting pains running down your leg from where that ball is, you're in the right spot. So you can see I'm using this hand to sort of try and take a little bit of weight off my hips and off the ball, obviously. Oh. Oh. Okay, one more with the ball. I'm probably going to go to back to the vibrating ball. This time we're just going to get our glute, so don't overthink it too much. We're just trying to roll out the butt cheek. You can use a foam roll if the ball is too much with this one. So whatever butt cheek you are on, that foot is going to go up. Just stretches it out a little bit, just so you can roll that glute out a little bit. Don't be afraid to come right down to the lower back and roll it out there as well, because your glute does come right up and join into that lower back. Ooh. And that's might be where it's tight and pulling on your back. So, if you do find any tight spots or knots or anything like that, that's when you're going to stop on it. And that's where this vibrating ball would come in handy, but I forgot to turn it on when I started this. Again, just hitting the whole butt cheek or around to the side a little bit. That's going to be feeling real nice because it's stretched out as well. Ooh. Okay, let's go to the other side. And then we'll get into those exercises that I was talking about. Again. So yeah, if you can't get in this stretched position, just keep the foot on the ground, that's fine as well, and just rolling around. That massage and the ball, getting the ball to massage those glutes, whether it's stretched or not, is going to feel really good for your lower back anyway. All right, so then we go back into the retest to see if it's actually worked. So come back over, try your cat-cow first. Just trying to bend through. Looking up, pushing your belly button to the ground. Take a big breath in, and then exhale. Just seeing if the pain that was there before in those spots is gone through this movement. Tuck those toes, push it into a down dog. Again, seeing if that's loosened off, if it feels any better now than it did at the start. And my favorite, usually after all that, it feels like you can fold back onto yourself. Oh. So seeing it again, we just do repeat these three just to see if those pains are still there. If they're better, the pain still might be there, but it could just be less. And then we'll get into our strengthening exercises. First one is an active pigeon. You've probably all done this one before, especially if you're on the program. We're just going to come through into a pigeon pose, bringing that foot around. Ideally, you want that foot in line with the shin in line with the top of the mat. I'm definitely not that flexy, so just as close as you can. Stretching your back leg back as far as you can, coming into that pigeon pose. And just get a little bit of a stretch here before we go into that activeness of this stretch. Should feel good stretching through the glute on this side as well. So the stretch should be in your hip. I'll come to the other side in a second so you can see it. All right, now, coming down on your fingers, you're gonna bring your chest down and back up. Now, a couple of things to watch out for here is not just using your spine. The movement doesn't come from your spine like this. I want the movement to come from the hips, okay? So you're using this hip. I will come around to that other side just for this demo. So the movement, the lift comes from the hip, not this back here doing this, okay? So imagine somebody's pulling your back and your spine nice and long while you do this one. So again, stretching out, keeping that back nice and flat, keeping this glute active, coming down and then lifting with this glute here, right up as high as you can, and then slowly coming back down. Now, you're going to just do a couple with all your fingers on the ground, making sure you're getting the movement right before you start adding too much load. Then, when you're ready and comfortable, you're going to go to 2 fingers and do the same thing, just with 2 fingers, so this glute starts taking a little bit more of the load and a little less load in your fingers. Again, we're here, use this glute, spine's nice and long and stretched out, to lift up and then back down, okay? And then when you're ready, hands off the ground, come all the way down, spine's nice and long, stretched out. Use this glute to stretch right up and back down. Okay, nice and long, nice and slow and controlled. You do that both sides. Again, it depends on how long you want to spend each side. I'd say probably 10 or so reps each side, probably 2 times. Then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, next one is a reverse Nordic. So I've just got my band attached to this Pilates band. Hopefully it holds me. Otherwise, it's probably going to make for a funny blooper. But just adding some assistance. I've got a band, but you can use a belt, a towel wrapped around a pole, just anything to just help you through this movement. It is quite hard to start with, so just take your time. Don't feel like you have to rush it and go all the way. You just go to where you can without overdoing it, okay? So squeezing those glutes, again, nice and long and tall through the spine. We're gonna come down, okay? So you can see just small movements to start with. Now, if this is pinching that lower back and it's causing quite a big issue, just skip this one and go to the next one. But if you can do it, trust me, it's just gonna help, again, lengthen and strengthen through this front here, which can be sometimes a cause of those lower back issues. So here, coming down and back up. Super slow, super controlled, not trying to push it too far. Now, ideally, my back still is a little bit sore, so I'd have a thicker band, but I haven't got one, so let's just see how it goes for you guys. Ideally, you want to try and get right down and then back up. So so the last active pigeon used our glutes to move up and down. Now we're trying to use our quads and hip flexors to do the same. So to pull you down and back up. So holding it tight through here, nice and strong through the glutes. We're using these muscles to lower us down, and then squeeze here and lift back up, okay? Try not to do these ones, so come down and then hips or anything like that. the hips don't bend, so that's why keeping our hips and our core nice and tight. So our quads can do the work. Again, you probably want to do, say, 2 sets of 10 on this one, but take it slow. So if 10 is quite a lot and you're going super slow. So again, you want to probably do, 2 sets of 10, but again, just super slow, super easy, don't push it. Okay, so the next one is just more to build confidence in picking things up again, because I know if you've had back issues, that bending down to pick things up tends to be quite scary. So this is just to bring a bit more confidence in, a bit more strength in. Again, we've loosened everything off, so we're just trying to bring a little bit more activeness into those positions. Now, I've got a 5 kilo dumbbell. You don't even need weight for this. Like, you don't need a heavy weight, that's for sure. Okay, so keep it light. We're gonna work this left side to start with. The back foot just goes for a little bit of balance, okay? So just coming up onto those toes on the back foot. Don't really care where it goes, out to the side, like closer, whatever you need to do. It's just there for balance. Okay, so one foot, we're gonna think about knuckles to toes. I might come around on the side here a little bit so you can see my back a little bit more. Keeping that back flat. So I don't want you to hunch like this. Keep that back nice and flat. Knuckles to toes. So I've got dumbbell in my right hand and we're gonna go to the left foot or left toes. We're gonna come down. And again, depending on how your back feels, it might be as far as you can go, because it's gonna obviously be super tight through that back and then you're gonna come up. So again, this is just slow and controlled movements. Coming down, reaching those knuckles to toes and back up. Again, we're trying to work, I'll swap legs so you can see a little bit better. So we're trying to work this leg here and these glutes, hamstrings and lower back. So keeping that back nice and flat. This time I've got my dumbbell in my left hand, going to my right toes, trying to keep this leg as straight as can, knees slightly bent if you need, and then using that glute to lift back up. So imagine your hips going back, pushing those hips back, and then pushing those hips forwards. Just trying to reach those, again, knuckles to toes to get a bit more of a stretch. But again, this should just be more for bringing a little bit more confidence, like I said, in picking things up. Because once you start balancing on one leg, those muscles are going to want to take over and activate a little bit more. That's going to protect that lower back. So you can see, even just with no weight, just reaching for those hands, the fingers to the opposite toes, that might be enough for you to start with, and that is completely fine. You don't need weight. To keep it light, keep it controlled, and just build confidence in bending down to pick something up again. Okay, I know I said there was only 3, but this is a little bit more advanced variation of the active pigeon. This is the one I go for, but I'll put this at the end because I don't want you to do it if you're not really confident in even active pigeon. Even if you are, you still need to take this one super slow and very controlled, okay? So normally I'd just use a bench, but I've got a couple of boxes here. I'll just use these ones. So coming up into your pigeon stretch, okay? So obviously shin leg is up on here. Back leg is stretched back as far as you can. We're just gonna drop down, so dropping that back knee down towards the ground, and then using this glute here to lift back up. So this movement, again, is coming from that stretched leg. So this is obviously a lot more pressure on the legs. So again, coming down, using this glute here to push this knee down to lift me up. Back leg is providing a little bit of assistance as well, obviously, but you just want to take it super slow and controlled. Like the other one, I recommend probably doing about 10 one side, 10 the other, 2 rounds. More just to get, again, a bit of movement back in those legs and those hips. Keep it slow, keep it controlled, and be sensible about it. All right, big thanks to every single one of you for watching and following along. Now, obviously, if you've made it this far, you've enjoyed the video, but I want to know, did you get something out of it? So if you did, and you do have lower back pain and you tried these and it did help, please let me know in the comments. I want to know if these videos are actually making a difference or not. So yeah, let me know and I'll talk to you all in the next video.